Hey you guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel, Peter's Movie Reviews. And today I want to talk about one of the greatest Lifetime movies that was ever made. That movie is the FAB 5, the Texas cheerleading scandal. Oh my God. I watched this movie last night. It was so good. It was so bad that it was so good. It was starring Tatum O'Neal from Little Darlings. Do you remember her? Oh my God, that movie was so scandalous back in the day. Okay, now let me just tell you, it is my intention to bring you reviews of the best of the worst and the worst of the best Lifetime movies that were ever made. So, if you have any requests, put them in the comment section below. And yes, I'm getting back to the V.C. Andrews movies. I started with Heaven. I watched that one. I will be watching, I don't know what the sequel to that is, Angel of Death or something like that. I have so many movies on my list. I am now a member of the Lifetime Movie Club. You can be too for $4.99 a month, not sponsored, but it's a lot of fun. And they have all the classics on there. They have new ones. Oh my God, they have so many movies. So last night I was like, I've done this Google search so many times now. I'm like, the best Lifetime movies ever made, okay? It's like always like the top 10 best Lifetime movies ever made. And number one on that list is From Homeless to Harvard, which I plan to watch. I might watch that one tonight. Number two is Gracie's Choice, which I've already reviewed on this channel. So if you would like to go see my review of Gracie's Choice, please do that. But on that list was this movie that I watched last night. And the movie, like I said, is called the FAB, what is it? FAB 5? Not the FAB 5. FAB 5. The Texas cheerleading scandal. Here is a synopsis. Are you ready? Okay. The new cheerleading coach. I could be the new cheerleading coach. Oh my God. The new cheerleading coach at a high school. Jackson High. Woo! Woo! Jackson High. Okay. The new cheerleading coach at a high school is asked to resign by administrators after she tries to rein in 5 cheerleaders engaging in scandalous behavior. Okay, this movie is so good. It's so bad that it's so good. In fact, I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty convinced that this movie was filmed in one of those 2-story motels. No, because like all the classrooms are like, they go up like these metal stairs. You know, like the 2-story motel, you know the ones that you see like in true crimes and stuff like that? It's like that, okay? But they like go up these like concrete metal stairs and then like they'll go like, it looks like a hotel room, but it's like their classroom. I'm like, did they film this in like one of those 2-story? Was that their school? Is the school swimming pool like, you know, like around? Anyway, it is so bad. But it is so bad, but it is so good. Okay, so this is like the synopsis for the movie. When did it come out? 2008. It's considered a sport drama. Well, maybe. And it is starring, what did I say? What's her face? Well, I can't remember. Tatum O'Neal. Yeah. Do you guys remember that movie, Little Darlings? Now, another video of mine today, I looked it up. It came out in 1980, which means I was 8 years old. My cousin Caroline is 3 years older than me, so she would have been 11 at the time. I wanted to see that movie so bad because I love Christy McNichol. Do you remember that movie? You know what? I was sitting there talking about it. I was like, I don't know that I ever saw Little Darlings, but do you remember that movie was so scandalous? Maybe I should watch that and review it, but I feel like it's kind of like, is it like a bad movie or something? I don't know. I don't remember much about it, but do you remember that movie Little Darlings with Christy McNichol and Tatum O'Neal? But anyway, okay, so Tatum O'Neal, she plays the principal of this school, okay? And then her daughter is Brooke, and she is like she's like the Regina George, okay? Now, this movie came out after Mean Girls. They even reference Mean Girls. They kind of dress more like Clueless in the movie. Like, they wear a lot of, like, plaid hats, those big kind of hats, you know, like Newsies, those kind of hats. But they wear them kind of, like, sideways like that, you know? And then they wear, like, you know, the halter tops that, like, tie and, like, the little skirts and stuff like that. They dress very much kind of like Clueless in the movie. But they even reference Mean Girls. So the movie came out after Mean Girls. Now, Brooke, Tatum O'Neal's daughter, first of all, this was based on a true story, okay? None of them girls ever got to cheer again. They didn't. Jenna Dewan, who plays the, am I pronouncing her name right? I don't know nothing else that she's been in, but anyway, but I do know she's famous. Anyway, she plays the cheerleading coach. Go! But anyway, I kind of loved her so much because she was like, she took her cheerleading real serious. She's like, no, we're going to teach these girls lessons and morals and values, okay? But anyway, Those girls were so mean. So anyway, it was 5 of them, okay? And they were like the ones that were running the school. Until they go to this one party and they're like drinking and all this kind of stuff. And then this one girl, her boyfriend told this other girl that were in the Fab Five that they had broken up, okay? But they hadn't broken up. And then she was like kissing and making out and stuff like that. And then apparently they like, I don't know, they did it or something. But I don't know. They kind of talk about it. But then that girl, she chases her all through that hotel school. And then she beats her ass. And then it's like, it's on. Then it's just the Fab Four, okay? But the girls, they get away with sin. They get away with sin. They are so bad. These girls are so bad. This one time, they have all fake IDs. I mean, okay, I did too. But anyway, that's beside the point. But this one time, they're like drinking beers from the strip club and stuff like that. And then they go to this porno store and they're taking these like videos in the porno store of them like whipping each other and stuff like that. And then they're like, but the school won't do nothing about it. Okay, the school, they're like beating up people. They're like cussing out teachers. Like they cuss them out. And they're like, we run this school. You know what? I was like watching this and I was thinking to myself, do you remember? Like, I was straight up a loser in school, okay? And I can remember my mom being like, don't even worry about it, Peter, because, you know, when you grow up and you're a famous YouTuber, she didn't say that, because we didn't have YouTube back then, you know, but she's like, when you grow up and, like, you're happy in life and things like that, those people, they'll be sad and they won't enjoy their lives now. But let me tell you what's kind of really the truth is that sometimes those assholes in high school, they end up being like CEOs and really happy and they look fantastic. They look 10 times better than I do. And I'm like, I think my mom was wrong about that. But, you know, they seem like they had amazing lives, you know, and I don't know. They've had amazing lives their whole life. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not a big believer in karma, but if I did, then they got a lot of good karma. But anyway, so, but these girls are so mean. They are so mean. And then their parents are all friends with the principal. Like, they've all grown up together, and they're all friends and stuff like that. It's Texas, you know? So anyway, so they're all friends, and so the parents are always like to the principal, well, you better deal with this, and you better put that cheerleading coach in her place, okay? Because we've had enough of the cheerleading coach. Because the cheerleading coach wants to, like, give out these demerits, and then if they get enough demerits, then they can't be on the squad anymore. And this one girl, she can't tumble, okay? No, she can't tumble. And so that new cheerleading coach, she's real nice and stuff like that. And then they even try to get her for an affair. They're like, oh my God, she's like hugging this one teacher. And then they're talking about how he's going to surprise his wife for their anniversary. And she says, and I knew it was going to come to bite her in the ass, because, you know, with the Lifetime movies and stuff. She says, well, will your wife get upset if she finds out about the surprise that he's doing for their anniversary? And the one girl records it, and she takes it to the principal. And then at the end, when the principal's like, has the mother and this girl, her name is Jerry. And I kept on thinking of Jerry from Facts of Life. I love that show. You take the good, you take the bad, you take it all, and then you have the facts of life. Anyway, remember Jerry from that? Jerry was Blair's cousin on Facts of Life. But I kept on thinking of Jerry because this girl's name was Jerry. But she couldn't be on the squad because she couldn't tumble. They took it to the superintendent. I'm like, does that really happen? If your daughter doesn't get on the cheerleading squad, then you take it to the superintendent. But anyway, I love any movie about cheerleading and pageants, okay? I just watched that movie. Now, I reviewed another movie over here about cheerleaders. I love them cheerleading movies so much. I do. But anyway, so then all the parents and the principal, and I didn't really know what this guy did. He was like the dean or like the assistant principal or something like that. And then they were always covering up for the girls, okay? The teachers hated the girls. Everybody hated the girls. The girls were mean. They were mean, mean, mean. This one girl, she pushed this girl up into a wall, and she goes, and if you tell, and she goes, I hope you do. She goes, I'll beat your face, or something like that. I was like, those were kind of the girls that I wish were my friends in high school, but my girlfriends, they beat somebody's ass anyway. They protected me. So anyway, these girls were horrible. They were horrible girls. They were so mean. And all they cared about was cheerleading. That's all they cared about, okay? Was cheerleading and drinking and partying. So anyway, Texas. See, it's Texas. But anyway, so then at the end of it, this Jenna Dewan, she says something to the principal like, well, if I can't put the rules in place that I want to, then I guess I just won't be the cheerleading coach anymore. And the principal's like, oh, is that your resignation? So then she takes that as a resignation. So basically then the cheerleading coach, she's fired from her job. Not just as a cheerleading coach. You don't really ever even know what she teaches because it's more important that she's a cheerleading coach, and her best friend's a tennis coach. You don't really know what they teach. It doesn't really matter. School doesn't matter in Texas. It's just about sports and cheerleading. Don't you know that? You don't watch Lifetime movies? It's the truth, though. But anyway, so, and then, but my favorite was at the very end. Hold on, I'll tell you about that in a second. But anyway, so then they do this internal investigation, okay? Because the news is covering it. The news is covering this video gets leaked of the girls like whipping each other and drinking in this porno store and all this kind of stuff. And then that comes out, and then something else big happens. And then they're like beating up these girls, but none of the girls will tell. And they're just like real mean girls. Oh, and then they get caught drinking in the car on campus, and the security guard finds them. And the principal, because it's her mom, just lets them off. No detention, no suspension, nothing. Just lets them off. See, now I dealt with that kind of shit in high school because I had those were the kind of deans and stuff that I had in high school. I got in trouble for everything. But them other popular kids, oh no, they had to play in the football game on Friday night, so we better not get them in trouble. I dealt with that shit's real. Okay. So anyway, so then when the cheerleading coach gets fired, she's talking to the board of the booster club, the president of the booster club. And she said that the news was doing this report about the Fab Five, these mean girls. They're real excited. They're standing around the living room. They're watching the interview on TV. And then, but then the cheerleading coach, she's like, oh, I gotta go. And so she goes and she does an interview at the news station. And, oh my God. And then she exposes everything. And then the superintendent brings in this internal investigation. And the internal investigation finds out that the teacher or the principal and her assistant, I don't know what he is, something. But anyway, that they're to blame. And he goes, you failed at the two most important jobs that any person could ever have, as an administrator and as a parent. She's like, oh, what? That's Tatum O'Neal. And she's like, what? And then she comes out and her daughter's like, because her daughter's always like sucking on lollipops and shouting in her mom's face. I'm telling you right now, this girl, this is why I don't have kids, okay? If this girl gets into her mom's face at this one point, it's like, what? I'm telling you right now, that would be a Lifetime movie of its own, okay? This girl, she's crazy. Anyway, so then, then they interview the coach. She's coming out of her investigation, you know, they interview her. And so she's coming out of her investigation. I already knew that they never cheered again because I looked it up based on a true story. You can't find out where any of these girls are today. They like went underground or something because they were so embarrassed they weren't cheerleaders anymore. But anyway, so this Jenna Dewan, the coach, she sees Brooke, the main girl, and she goes, what are you doing here? And she goes, I'm giving my interview for the investigation. And she goes, you know, I was really trying to help you. And she goes, yeah, really? And she said something about the video, and that Brooke girl's like, nobody cares about that video. And she goes, you think SCU, like Southern California University, she goes, do you think SCU or their cheer guard is going to want you to cheer for them or even have, like, and they're not going to even admit you to the school with that video being out there? And then Brooke is like, damn, she's right. I should have listened to her. I'm like, yes, baby, right there. See, she got you. And she looked at her and she goes, I was the only one that was really trying to help you. But that was in the classroom. She was boxing up her boxes. But anyway, then the mom principal, she comes out of the room and they're all sitting there sucking on lollipops and stuff. And she's like, Mom, why are you crying? And she goes, pack your boxes up. Pack your locker up. You're out of this school. She goes, you can't tell me I'm not leaving the school. This is my senior year. She goes, you're leaving the school. I'm on suspension. You're leaving the school. And then the other girls are like, but what about me? Like, what do I do? Can I cheer again? And she goes, your cheering days are over in this district. And they don't ever cheer again. And then it ends because the cheer coach, Jenna Dewan, she goes to their cheer championship. And then all the other girls that she saved from like the mean girls, the Fab Five, and the Fab Five, the fifth girl that she was like a mean girl, but now she's a nice girl. She like does this whole thing at the end of it, and then she like points right to her. It's real sweet at the end of it. I was like almost crying and stuff, but I wasn't because it's a Lifetime movie. But some Lifetime movies I do cry on, but it was so good. You should watch it. Fab Five, the Texas cheerleading scandal. It's based on a true story. If you've seen it, let me know in the comment section below. And also, put recommendations for Lifetime movies, okay? I love you guys so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.